Y'all probably can hear that. Okay, we good? I think we look a little dark, but I think we good. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is good. Today, yes, we are here. Oh, I got two of those open. Hold on now. Interesting. We will figure that out in a minute. All right. So we are live. College is on sale. I didn't realize it. College is on sale. What made me realize college is on sale? Man, where do I start? I got the wrong glass. I'm just going through it right now. There we go. My computer was dark. That's why. Okay. College is on sale. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday. Hopefully you stop by for a little bit. Hopefully your weekend is gonna be good and fun and all the good things, right? So let me charge this computer up. Yeah, okay. So there's a fire sale going on. Of course, yesterday we went through some schools demonstrating how like you could be a part-time law student. A lot of schools are showing, at least private schools, the pattern we seen on yesterday's live stream, March 26th live stream, is that a lot of schools are saying like if your family or if your family household makes $150,000 less, not less, $150,000 or less, that they're waiving tuition. Private schools, some women private schools, it's a sale going on. One of the reasons why is because, if you look at everything is high right now, there's probably a lot of reasons why people are trying to go back. Now, why my camera doing that? So a lot of the reason is that a lot of people are trying to go back to school. They're trying to make sure they can have a job that's reliable. A lot of people are speculating that the economy is about to crash. For my people in the finance world. So normally when economic disasters or economic scare or fearful things are happening, a lot of people resort back to the schoolhouse. Um, Schools, I feel like, are taking advantage of the opportunity and are throwing out more deals. And I put that together because I'm like, well, it's a lot of deals going on, and we was getting deal after deal after deal. Like the Department of Education fact sheet was just crazy. It was like literally all those they were showing, and it was real deals. And so it's really a good time. Like when things get expensive, like now, guys, it's kind of very similar. As one great person always says, it rhymes. And right now, when COVID happened and things got expensive around that time, right? During the pandemic, and then post-pandemic, you saw things rising. It's kind of like now. Things are rising, like gas is really high, right? We had the tariffs things happening, but everything is still expensive in stores, right? What's another one? Groceries, food. Yeah, going to buy food at, like, if you're going to get fast food, eating out, that's up. So a lot of things are up and really high price. It feels like you're not even going to get a chance to catch a break. So it's a perfect time to start at a 2-year college. Even if you have the grades per se, but in this case, it might be hard because of the funds and the money. And it's definitely a good time to start a 2-year college and get a head start because prices don't go down at all. But you see they're throwing deals right now. I don't think these deals will be around in the next few years personally, because when the economy is doing good, I don't really recall seeing many deals. Like the Biden administration had a really good economy, a really good, steady, like definitely people in the stock market say that Biden stock market was really good and all this, right? But they understand that it's really hard for people. And people, the last thing I feel like I'm feeling it right now, right? With the views, like people are probably looking at me like, my guy, you're over here talking about higher ed topics. How do we save money in college? Well, college right now is throwing deals out right now to save money, discounted. This is the time to go to school. This is the time to go to affordable colleges, 2 year to 4 year, and even 4 year. Some 4 years are having great deals. Like imagine if you go to a 2 year, and in some cases you can probably start at a 4 year that has a better deal for you. But you can start at a 2 year, save a good amount of money, then go to a 2 year, then go to a 2 year, then go to a 4 year that's offering a deal like Emory. If your family household makes under 200,000, like we don't know how long that deal is going to be out there, but it starts like it's a lot. It's part of these upcoming changes for fall 2026, and so we 6 minutes in already and doing yeah, that's what we like. So I really feel like it's going to be a great time to go to school. Just to give you an idea, I always like to relate to real life so you know that I'm going through it as well. And so like remember guys, I work in a college in the state of Georgia, and it's like at least at a 2 year it's been pretty steady. And we haven't really been hit by anything crazy like universities have. And it's something to think about. And I'm not saying because I have an education that I'm more secure, because that's not the case. I don't feel like any job is really secure. I feel like you should work in a job, or it'd be a good idea to be in a job that's like really needed. And people would say, well, a university is really needed, but it's just like basic balance sheet, you know. A lot of people in universities, as we talk about, like coach, which we're going to talk about with the University of Florida. I see my shirt. I've been wearing the shirt all day. Shout out to my, grad schoolhouse. And so a lot of like we're gonna talk about University of Florida, that a lot of schools are paying a lot of people, like as we talk about head coaches, vice presidents, presidents of college, or any job in higher ed is making like over 500,000, over 300,000, really. And so a lot of people are getting paid a lot of money at universities. I can't speak on that. Like I can speak on it, but I can't speak on it until like these people don't deserve their jobs. These people, because I don't want to see people losing their jobs. But it should make you weary if you work at a university. Of course, this is for the professionals, that you could be gone because something is brewing up. I don't know what's brewing. Something feel like it's brewing, but we don't know until what they slap the label on it and it happens. And so I just really feel like there's a lot of deals going on right now that a lot of people probably would take lightly, as we're trying to really get some traction and really get some understanding of what's going on right now in this market, in this economy. And so as I do this, guys, I like to do a disclaimer. I want to come in hard because, the algorithm been real funny with me a little bit. Algorithm been, is this all? Oh, that's old. It's crazy they showed it, though. And so let me pull up the disclaimer. Y'all know me. I'm always trying to get that ready. But I had to come in like, and I've been on the Jay-Z really listening, y'all. I finally listened to, I don't know if anybody, I'm I know I'm young, but I didn't realize Jay-Z was dropping so many albums. Like, bro really was spitting. I was listening to the Blueprint 2 by Jay-Z, and I see why he was ahead of his time. Jay-Z was talking about the stock market on the Blueprint 2. And I haven't really went that far back in the archives yet to be like, dang, he was really talking about that. He was saying like, crack has gone up, like stock. And then he rhymed it with like, shoot, even not performing in the Dow. And I was like, ooh, man, I do like the stock market. Like, this is fun and hobby like right here, talking about higher education, how you can save money, going to school. Like, I don't get bored with this. Like personally, I think it's more fun when you talk amongst people who really understand higher ed, which the community is somewhere out there who probably don't want to talk about it, but I really enjoy this. Like the stock market is like serious. That's like something I'd be like, I don't feel like talking about it right now. Like it seems like I'm obsessed with it sometimes, but really I'm what's that word? Monitoring it. Like I'm really like monitoring it most of the time just to see what's going on and making sure everything is going smoothly. So disclaimer, the video is presented here for informational purposes only. Remember that I am speaking from my experience. I am not representing any institution. When I talk about the institution on this live stream, it is in your best interest. If you are interested in the institution that I probably mentioned that you didn't know about, that you should reach out to that school, call them, ask questions, and get the real, I guess you would say, scoop from them. But, you know, as we always say, keep in mind that the school is selling something to you. Like college, higher education is a commodity, it's a product. So they're always going to give you the best of the best. When you talk to them, we just give you our perspective and how we feel about things. But disclaimer. Yeah. And so, yeah, guys, I'm going through it over here. I need you all to hit that like button. Share this on all your platforms. Remember, we're on LinkedIn. We're not on the Instagram. We're not on the Facebook. We're not on any other social media platform because this is our niche. I feel strongly good about this. Sticking to the gut about, you know, staying in your lane. And sometimes when you're building a road, nobody's around when you build the road. We be asleep most of the time. So we building a road right now that I think is going to help a lot of people, a lot of professionals, a lot of people. I think we're gonna help a lot of people in different universes. So let's get into it. This was not even part of the headline, as we know, but so let's do this too. If you made this far, thank you for stopping by. So we got some headlines. This is by SHIO. Shout out to SHIO. If you don't know what SHIO is, I don't even know what their initials are. But SHIO is the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association. They provide higher education policy update for me. I usually read them out in the beginning. I try to remember, try to get in the habit of doing that in the beginning to let you know what's going on nationally. Then you got state. So let's go. So national policy, it's a press release. The U.S. Department of Education to downsize footprint. Yeah, this today's to downsize the footprint in Washington, D.C. and save taxpayers over $4.8 million annually. I spoke on that a little bit yesterday. It's not really something like, I don't know, because they always say it's saving taxpayer dollars, but I know most people going to be like, where? I don't see it. So they have made the Department of Education building, actually, guys. That is 70% vacant, according to the Department of Education website. You can check that out. The press release, the U.S. Department of Education celebrates more than 10 million FAFSA forms complete and additional transparency measures. So you're going to hear me talk about that a little bit at the end if you stay long enough. But please complete your FAFSA. According to the financial aid specialist, I couldn't get with him this week. He's a busy man. I couldn't get him this Friday, so I'll reach out to him next week. But you always want to do that. You always want to be one of the first people to do your financial aid. The sooner, the better. I'm not saying that you get more money if you do it sooner, but I do believe they do see how soon you do it to be like, this person's kind of prioritizing this, really on their P's and Q's, really like being sound. So make sure you do that. If you haven't done that, you need to do that. For all my students and behalfers and everyone out there, you need to go ahead and complete that. So report, Department of Education, opportunities exist to strengthen accountability in higher education. Report, this is a report right here. Removing barriers, building futures, data-informed policies to support college students experiencing homelessness. Okay, that's interesting. That's by the Schoolhouse Connections. I never heard of that. Trump's efforts to collect race-based college admissions data lead to fears of retaliation. Y'all didn't tell me my face wasn't here with y'all. I guess every time I turn, it blurs. So workforce Pell opportunities and challenges as implementation nears. So we talked a little bit about that with I really gotta fix that focus right now. I want to, but I'm gonna wait till we finish. So Alex. Y'all see she on that phone. And we talked about the workforce Pell because I see it keep jumping at y'all. That could be nauseous. Hit that no camera. Hit the FN. Do some troubleshooting real quick, y'all. Hit that. No, it's behind the camera part. You see that FN on there? Hit that. Okay. Go down. Like move that little, that little circle knob. Push it down. Hit the middle button. Turn it off. What do you mean turn it off? Oh, my bad. Hit that bottom knob again. Hit the middle button. A little blurry right now. Tap that screen. Now it's clear. I might need you to be my camera work real quick, just in case. Because I don't know why it's been doing it. It's been going, I keep forgetting how I fixed it last time. No, it's good right now. It's good. Sometimes it's been like when I turn, it was blurring up. And then it's still focusing, but I think it's good. It's still good right now. All right. So workforce Pell opportunities and challenges as implementation nears. We talked a little bit about that with Sam on, when we had our first Financial Aid Friday conversation. And so he said the workforce Pell, we really have to get a scoop on that again. They're saying that it's nearing implementation, but we didn't get a clear like what's going on with it and how it's going to interact, because I'm still confused on the workforce Pell a little bit, because apparently it's a little confusing as well for the people who are implementing it or creating it. And I'm really I'm trying to see if it's gonna be more like trade heavy, but apparently Sam did say, I'm not gonna say he said, but I'm gonna try to remember that I'm recalling that it's gonna go for programs too, not just the trade programs, but programs that could just be short. You can use the workforce Pell so you can jump into the workforce sooner. Might be an opportunity to, use that workforce Pell if you qualify to take some AI courses so you don't waste your own money. That could be an interesting, try to get a deal on that, right? Trump administration begins inquiries into 3 medical schools in show of power. That's interesting. That was by the New York Times. GOP decries, if I said it right, Chinese espionage. If I said it right, espionage, it's quotation. Dems focus on loan debt, education department layoffs. So we got some education department layoffs again. The education department told higher ed to buckle up. The nation's largest accreditor fired back. Oh, fire shots fired. All right, so we got state policies real quick. Colorado governor signs bill letting schools, universities bypass some zoning rules to build housing. Florida regulates sociology to elective status at state universities. Huh. Wow, they're a little behind. That's why I wasn't. Oh, because for us guys in Georgia, sociology has always been an option for us. You could take either psychology, sociology. It's usually those two. Depending on your major, it's mostly psychology. Interesting. Florida, new schools could be joining Florida's college accreditation shakeup. Interesting. Illinois, university funding overhaul bill advances in House despite U of I opposition. MA, I don't know what MA, I think it's Massachusetts. State looks to ramp up early college enrollment. Early college, that's like part of admissions. That's like one of the admission terms, I believe. Early college enrollment. They have like early decision, I think early college, but depending where it's at, because in Massachusetts, that could be like dual enrollment. So that's interesting, right? MO, I don't know. I think that's Missouri. So drastic cuts in a new formula, explaining Missouri's complicated higher education funding problem. MO again, Missouri. A complete joke. Higher education funding overhaul finds few takers in Missouri Senate. PA, I believe Pennsylvania. Please forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. PA, new law would ban colleges from using tuition to pay athletes. What? New law would ban colleges from using tuition to pay athletes. Oh my goodness. Didn't even know that was a topic right now. Didn't even know I thought some schools were doing that, but I didn't never have any proof. I didn't never have any proof that y'all can see me. Okay. I had coffee. I didn't have any proof that these schools were. I feel like something missing. I didn't have any proof that these schools were actually like doing that. I used to always speculate that, like, what if they taking this tuition money and paying athletes? What if they taking this tuition money and paying like executives this money? It's ironic, right? That doesn't get views. So WI, I believe that's Wisconsin, but I believe. So WI, what state is WI? Let's ask Google real quick. Yeah, Wisconsin. All right. So WI is Wisconsin. Tom Tiffany wants to freeze in-state tuition. Why this former regent says that is a bad idea. Oh, we got a bad idea person. So we got some topics on that we're gonna cover. If we run through our current topics too fast, we already at 22 minutes. If you caught those headlines, try to find them, try to play me back and see if that applies to you. That's what's for. We did national first, then we did states. The states had some interesting ones. So as we keep going, got a lot of topics on Friday, man. That's what spending your resources look like. My mouse has been acting up all day. It's kind of disrespectful. I don't know why. I've been having a screen changing. Get off me. Watch. Typical, right? So, y'all can't even see it. Oops. Thought y'all can see just in case there's a video. There's this guy, but let's just pause him. So, education department must discharge student loans for 205,000 borrowers after major court defeat. So, as you know, I said we're independent. I highlight the bad, I highlight the good, or I highlight perspective a little bit, like what I feel and how I feel like this will help us. And this was by Adam S. Minsky. This is by Forbes, actually. And guess what? This is free. This is free. I thought this was gonna be paid. I thought it was gonna charge me, but we can get this real quick. So, for many people out there who are waiting for, I believe this is part of the Biden, like paying off your student loans and stuff like that, the Biden administration, and they were going to take this away. So we're about to find out what's kind of, I guess, going on. So borrowers scored a major victory on Wednesday after a federal appeals court rejected an emergency appeal by the U.S. Department of Education to delay student loan relief. Okay, so yeah, this has something to do with the Biden administration. They're paying your loans back. So for tens of thousands of Americans who claim they were defrauded by their school, or wait, maybe let's keep going. The ruling, the latest in a series of the ruling the ruling, the latest in a series of losses for the Trump administration in the Sweet v. McMahon case, paves the way for the department to automatically discharge the student loans of roughly 205,000 borrowers. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has denied the department. We're so excited. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has denied the Department of Education's latest attempt to delay settlement relief in the Sweet case. Said the project on predatory student lending. The legal organization, because guys, I always talk about the preferred lender arrangement that's in the Higher Education Act. Like universities are literally like really colleges, I believe, but universities get the most loans. Universities have partnerships with banks, and if you go look up the preferred lender arrangement, I always like to show us when I have the chance and show you all preferred. I always like to show that. So it's right here. A preferred lender arrangement is a formal disclosed agreement where a lender provides education loans to a school, students, or families, and the school recommends or promotes these loan products. These agreements must be in the best interest of the borrowers, offering competitive rates, high quality service, or special benefits. But most people don't really have the financial education. So as long as they can say this is in your best interest, that's what they, predatory. So set the project on predatory student lending, the legal organization, blah, blah, blah. So being represented borrowers in the class action lawsuit and subsequent settlement for nearly a decade. In a statement on X on Wednesday, again, the law has proven to be on our side. I don't know who they quoted. So here is what the latest ruling means for the Sweet versus McMahon settlement and when covered borrowers should expect to receive more information on student loan forgiveness, refunds, and other relief. So I do want to say this. A lot of things have been backfiring on the Trump administration. This was one of the things they was trying to prevent, I guess, to make people start paying back their loans. But these 205,000 borrowers are actually getting some help. The tariffs kickback, this kickback, what they call this, the relief, I don't know the proper name. They changed the name on this stuff so much, but the discharge of student loans has kicked back on them. A lot of things are kicking back, and the reason I mention that is because like a lot of this has put the Trump administration, like the stuff they were doing when they first started in the year has pretty much went nowhere. And that's what I'm getting at. And, I'm not a political person, so I have to let other political people state their frame on that. Like I have a good perspective and view, but if everything's getting kicked back, they're pretty much at ground zero. And they're just, talking essentially. So Sweet versus McMahon settlement provided for discharges of student loans for defrauded borrowers. So the 2022 Sweet versus McMahon settlement agreement between the Education Department and a class of hundreds of thousands of student loan borrowers was intended to resolve long-standing allegations of mismanagement, delays, and arbitrary rejections of relief on the borrower defense to repayment. The borrower defense program offers borrowers a pathway to discharge their student loans if they can demonstrate that the school they attended engaged in certain kinds of misconduct, such as misrepresenting admission selectivity or job prospects to convince prospective students to enroll. And this is why I tell you guys all the time, like such as misrepresentation, pretty much, such as misrepresenting admission selectivity or job prospects to convince prospective students to enroll. So when I tell you every time that you're on Instagram, I feel like they got me banned off Instagram, honestly. But when you're on Instagram, right, and you're on the social media, right, and you're looking up this university or this college, but mostly university, you're looking up this university and They're showing you the oohs and the ahs. These schools can mislead you with that and get you to enroll there. It's like you saying, I went to XYZ school, or I went to the University of Michigan, Duke, or whatever school in March Madness. You went to one of those schools because you were like, oh, I'm going to get a job when I graduate because they got this and that. And that doesn't guarantee you a job. That's what we try to tell you all on the live stream. And then it's kind of like, well, Henry, don't you build our case that college is worthless? No, because this is more like you've been misguided and you went to a school for the wrong reasons. You didn't really look at the price. You said the price of the college didn't matter, essentially. Not you, but this is what most people do, or I feel like they do. They say the price of the college don't matter because the return on investment is going to be so rewarding. And that is not a guaranteed thing. I feel like nowadays, because a lot of times we make a case that when I'm talking and having conversations with people, some people make a case that, well, they make the case of college is worthless, but then people contradict themselves and say college is worthless, but I have to go to the best school. Which one is it? If college is worthless, you just need to go and get your education, and then you're gonna be that woman or that guy. And so that's what we're trying to really see when it comes to that. Hold on real quick, guys. All right. So that's what we're trying to see. The settlement provided for automatic student loan relief for class members, which the agreement defines as those who had submitted borrower defense application requesting student loan forgiveness by June 2022, when the Sweet v. McMahon, then called Sweet v. Cardona, settlement agreement had been finalized, and who had attended one of more have been finalized, and who had attended one of more than 100 institutions on an approved list, referred to as the Exhibit C. Settlement relief includes a discharge of applicable federal student loans, as well as refunds of prior payments borrowers made on those loans. Relief can also include the deletion of negative credit reporting associated with the discharged student loans. Interesting. So is this part of it too? Yeah, it is. A second group of borrowers called post-class applicants were also potentially entitled to a relief under the Sweet v. McMahon. Y'all kind of saying the same thing. Jargon. All right. Same thing kind of in there. If the education department failed to issue a decision on their application by the end of January 2026, post-class applicants would be entitled to full settlement relief, just like Sweet v. McMahon class members. This includes student loan forgiveness, refunds of past payments made on the federal student loans, and corrections to credit reporting. So if you was paying on your student loans and you get forgiven, wow, that's a big refund for you. That's why you should have been paying on it. But if you wasn't paying on it, really, the education department sought. Oh, I use SALT. The education department sought to delay discharging student loans under Sweet v. McMahon settlement. Despite having a 3-year window to review the borrower defense request for post-class applicants, that the education department only adjudicated a small portion. If I say that word, it's like adjacent, but adjudicated. I believe I said that right. A small portion of the more than 200,000 applicants or applications submitted by the student loan borrowers. The project on predatory student lending, or PPSL, argued that the department entered into a legally binding contract agreement in 2022, and that post-class applicants were now entitled to discharge of their federal student loans because of the department's failure to review those applications by the January 2026 deadline. It's a lot. And so the department, however, saw a year have delay. All right. We're reading. Commercial. Can I pause that? right, perfect. There's just always these advertisements. That's a lot. They really broke this down, though. Oh, we almost done. So, due to the variety of the circumstances, including most notably the unanticipated size of the post-class pool, but two separate judges at the district court largely denied the department's request. At no point before 2025, this did the department. At no point before November 2025 did the department. It should be a comma there. Did the department signal that it would have any trouble meeting its deadline? The education department then filed an emergency appeal. Appeals court rejects request for delay, clearing the way for discharges of student loans. On Wednesday, a unanimous panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued a decision flatly rejecting the education department's emergency motion requesting to delay Sweet v. McMahon settlement relief, including student loan discharges, while its appeal is pending. So then it goes into the Department of Education's motion for a stay pending appeal fails for several reasons, wrote the court. And then it says when Sweet v. McMahon borrowers should expect their student loans to be discharged, they're saying that you should expect it. They keep saying that if you are a post-class applicant from an Exhibit C school who did not receive a decision by January 28, 2026, you are entitled to full settlement relief, says PPSL on its website to student loan borrowers. But I believe that's a lot of people, guys, because they were supposed to say something by the end of January 20, pretty much the end of January 28, 2026. And so then it goes into the same thing a little bit again about the Exhibit C. And then, so this was released, I'm going back up to the date, March 26th. So, okay. So March 26th. Did I click off of it? I'm just going, y'all see this. This is what I be dealing with. They be pulling up all this stuff. The legal group says that the Sweet v. McMahon post-class applicants who attended Exhibit C schools should receive a formal notice from the education department by next week telling them that their federal student loans are eligible to be discharged. All other post-class applicants should get student loan discharge notices by April 15th, which is next month. The department then will have 1 year to enact student loan forgiveness and other settlement relief for covered borrowers. Whew, all that. But remember, come and read this yourself. I skipped around a little bit, read a good chunk of it. But what if they don't even discharge our student loans? They say we ain't discharging them. Like, what's gonna happen? I'm interested. Like, what if they don't do it? And so, but yeah, you are. Hopefully, if you're watching, you know, you went to college and you're like, yeah, I'm one of the people who's gonna get my student loans discharged. You know, clap it up for you. If you're not, still clap it up for you. And try to find ways to get that paid down if you want to pay it or learn how to pay it off. That's something that I don't specialize in, but you know, get them student loans off, man. Get them student loans off. Why did I use that picture? Get them student loans off. So to the next thing, the University of Florida. So I actually took it down, but the guy name is DJ. This now we're gonna talk about Florida. What's his name? DJ. Yeah. Let me show y'all this. So for my people out there who watch football, I thought this was interesting because it was for when he went to the University of Florida. He's in college. I feel like it will bring some attention to the channel. DJ Lagway, if I said that right, apparently was a quarterback at the University of Florida. But what's interesting about him is that I guess I'll have to use, if I had to use an article, I think I'll use this one. Hopefully it's free. So this is him now at Baylor. Fun fact about Baylor: Baylor had a scandal. They had some bad scandals at Baylor, so he needs to be careful. Baylor has really bad sexual harassment in the past, so he should be, yeah. Not sexual harassment. I think sexual harassment is sexual assault, to be exact. Do your research on Baylor. That is a very at least in higher ed, guys, that was very popular. That's one of the reasons why Baylor University has, which is Baylor University is a private school, but it's one of the reasons why Baylor has a woman president, and there's not really many women university presidents out there. And so I believe college presidents in general, there's not many women college presidents in general, but that's one of the reasons why she is there to this day. And so DJ Lagway felt isolated, depressed at Florida. He is rewriting his story at Baylor. So he said he felt depressed at Baylor. I like the Instagram post better right quick. And then all this crazy stuff on the news. Hold on right quick, guys. I think this is this it? Let me see. It was a post. Let me see. It wasn't that one. They've been putting a lot of stories out about him in this. Is it this one? Give me a few seconds to find it real quick. I think it was his post, actually. Yeah, this is the one I seen right here. They quoted him. Now, they quoted him. I don't know if this is accurate, but this is from someone on X. This is from someone on X. They were saying that former hashtag Gators quarterback DJ Lagway tells USA Today that he was depressed at University of Florida. Lagway said what they add and say he was like, I didn't feel like a normal person. I didn't even know what campus looked like. I was really closed off. I didn't really hang with my teammates. I just stayed in my own lane. And then of course crazy comments about it, but seriously though, this is where I say going to a college matters. This was a perfect example. Hopefully people find this live stream because of this, because he said he felt alone at the campus. He said he didn't even know what a campus was. And some people made jokes about it. He knew where the bar was, whatever. But realistically, guys, he's from Texas. So let's do a little background research on him. So he's from Texas, first and foremost. So for him going from Texas to Florida, depending on what part of Texas he in, like could have been a big shift, could have been the same. I don't know him, so I can't talk about him in that way, but I'm talking more on the college side. Like if the college campus, this is the same University of Florida that has been having like really racial problems and conservative problems and all these other problems on the campus, and he probably seen these things and didn't say anything. I'm not blaming it on race. I'm not blaming it on conservatives. I'm blaming it on the fact that their campus climate, if I said it right, campus climate, I believe it's campus climate. I believe it's campus climate. Campus climate refers to the current attitudes, behavior, standards, or practices. Yeah. So the campus climate, which is something we talked about a lot in grad school, plays a big role in how students perform at the institution. And he is a student athlete, student athlete. He's an athlete second. And if he didn't feel comfortable at that school, I'm not blaming the school because I rated the University of Florida at A. Just because their prices, they're a very respected research institution. So, I'm not being biased here. I'm really making a case that it probably wasn't catered to him in a way where he felt like, oh yeah, I can go to these things on campus. They have these little get-togethers. They have this of people that look like him, and or professors that look like him, and then peers that look like him, or like people he can relate to. Like nobody has to look like you to relate to them. But apparently, he said he was just like, he was away from home. I think he's a freshman. He was a freshman. I'm not sure if he was a freshman, sophomore. They got him down as a sophomore, so I think he was a freshman then. So this is why I really stress guys that like choosing your college makes a big difference. Like you can be top of your game coming into college, already be in college, and you perform well your first year, but the next year you're like, you really just thought about it like, man, I was really spending a lot of time doing schoolwork. I didn't really get along with people, and you really start thinking. And then you start realizing like this school, I feel like it's taking a toll on my mental because I don't really have nobody to study with. I don't really have nobody to relate to when I say movie catchphrases. All this stuff goes into your college decision. And you don't want to pick a school solely because of the return on investment it can give you. Because if you don't want to visit that school or go back and return to that school, that's, like, I guess it's okay depending on the person you are, but you always want to be like, I want to go back to my school and be around the people when I had this college journey with. It's just like when people go to the military, they love, talking to military people because they went through some things. They felt like they could relate to people, and now they're not in it no more, but they still might go visit a base. They might still go to military events and stuff. But if they never liked the military, it's kind of like you spent all this time around people you don't like, and you don't want to do that while getting your education. You don't want to do that period in life, but you don't want to do that because he's an athlete too. And I thought that was interesting. He said that because I've never really seen athletes open up about that. And now we see that goes into the NIL phase because like you don't like, are they being hard on him to say we don't care about your feelings? You got to be a pro because I don't know if he gets NIL deals. So let's see. NIL. So apparently he at Florida Gators quarterback DJ Lagway. This is AI overview. It might be in the past, but he was one of the highest value college football NIL athletes with an estimated value of $1.9 million to $3.7 million as of late 2025. And then he was a Jordan sponsored school. He made history as the first college athlete from Jordan sponsored school to sign with Jordan brand and boast major partnerships with Red Bull, T-Mobile, Gatorade, Beats by Dr. Dre, and Chipotle. So were they putting pressure on him because he was high value NIL? They were trying to treat him like a commodity now, since hey, you're a pro. We don't, you gotta be, like he probably would have went through this in the NFL, but he's going through this now as a freshman quarterback, 18 years old. I'm just saying, like, I think they're not factoring in like this is a big leap. And I understand you paying him millions of dollars, but now we're getting into a whole new rabbit hole of conversation needed. And I guess that's why we're speaking on behalf. I'm speaking on your behalf, my man DJ. I feel you. But I do think DJ should have to close it out. I do think DJ should have maybe had someone who understood. I feel like you really need somebody who understands higher education when you're going on these college tours as an athlete, so that you can be like, do you really like this school, man? Like, do you really like, what do you like about the school? Do you like because of the past history of it? Like at this point, really now it builds the case again for the crowd out there. He can go to any school he wants as long as they got the money. Some schools literally have the money, they just have a terrible program. And so he could have went to like literally any school in the nation, HBCU, all schools are predominantly white institutions. They just change when they get a certain demographic into the institution. But he could have went to any school he wanted, and he chose Florida, and he didn't even like it. So he should have had someone in his corner, I felt like, that was breaking it down to him, like, hey, what college you want to go to that can really grow you? Because you're going to be a student there. You're going to have to go to classes, maybe online, but you're going to have to go to classes. You're going to have to, like, really be here. Like, people are getting contracts. Like, people like him are getting contracts where, you know, hey, you want to be at the University of Florida for 3 years before you can go somewhere else. We're paying you for that. But apparently he got out. I don't know the full story, but I'm speaking on him like going there as a young man. And so in a positive light that he opened up about that. And I think, yeah, that's really it. I think, yeah. And so it's interesting to see that, though. Probably something that's overlooked because we're looking at it from a football perspective, but not a higher ed perspective, not a campus climate perspective, not a, you know, what was his major? What was his, like, was his schoolwork? Did he cater to the schoolwork? Did he relate to the schoolwork? So many variables that I think you're just treating him like a commodity and you're not treating him as a human. And I think if he, like you said, or if somebody on the team could have really thought about reaching out to him and noticed that, because luckily it didn't go the other way for him saying that. It didn't go the other way because it could have went the other way. And he just changed schools and started fresh. And that's the way to do it sometimes. But yeah, I like that. That was a pretty good topic about DJ. Don't know him, but I'm in your corner, man. I feel you, Brody. I do feel him, Alex. So I already said complete your FAFSA. We talked about colleges on the fire sale right now with a whole lot of deals. Let's go to Shio. Shio got some topics too. The one that I like the most with Shio so far, let me go back through. Should have wrote it down. That's on me. Not the creditors. I think it's, give me a few seconds. Florida. We talked about the Florida sociology. Well, we talked about it a little bit. We just mentioned it. Is that outside? This one is a good one. Let me get this up. And what is another one? Hopefully it's free. And then where's this is the early college enrollment. This one. It's like 3 good ones on here. Crazy work. And then so with Florida too, I forgot we still on Florida. All right, so this one goes hand in hand too. I bet y'all like, what is going on? What is he doing? So apparently Florida, let me pull this up. University of Florida. University of Florida. Where is it? All right, so y'all can see my screen. Yes. So the University of Florida's athletic director aptly summed up cost pressures in college sports pay for play era. Quotation, college athletics is the only entity in our country where a group of nonprofits compete in zero-sum competition. I didn't know what that meant exactly. It's a quote Strickland said. So then, oh, is this free? Oh, perfect. I didn't think it was gonna be free. Politico usually charges, so I'm surprised that it's free. So it says beyond the brackets, Florida seeks college sports solutions amid possible Trump action. So this actually goes hand in hand with, of course, what we just said about DJ Lagway. Forgive me, Lord, if I said the kid last name wrong. Because it's actually going to go hand in hand with new law would ban colleges from using tuition to pay athletes. So this is really good because, guys, if schools are using your tuition to pay these athletes, and I'm not against athletes getting paid in college, because if they blow their knee out or anything hurt, they get hurt, who gonna pay for their college? Like, scholarships do get scripted, and then the rest. So beyond the brackets, Florida seeks college sports solutions amid possible Trump action. So we don't want, in quotations, we don't want to do something or say something that is going to disadvantage these major institutions, said Alon Levine, if I said it right, who chairs the Board of Governors. So remember, we talked about Board of Governors. If you wrote with us, you understand that the Board of Governors, I don't know if they're in Florida. I don't know if this Board of Governor is part of the state of Florida. He should be a part. If they're talking about Florida, it should be the Board of Governors of Florida, which is selected by Governor, what's his name? Governor Alex, what's his name? The Florida governor, Governor Newsom. No, that's California. Governor, huh? Yeah, DeSantis. Yeah, DeSantis. DeSantis picks he picks the Board of Governors as well. He picks the Board of Governors, and he also picks I believe the Board of Governors is part of the Florida University system, and then the Florida University system picks all the they pick, and Governor DeSantis picks all the trustees for each university of Florida. And I believe, depending on how Florida got it set up, Governor DeSantis also picks the community college trustees as well. I know, seems like a lot confusing, but you have to understand that layer, because Governor DeSantis is a Republican. Trump is a Republican. And I guess Nick Saban in this regards has to be Republican because this has been led by Nick Saban, because Nick Saban was the university head coach of the University of Florida. Why am I telling you all this? Because politics is reaching always into this. All this is related. And so Governor DeSantis is going to support. Republicans have to be together. They're not supposed to fight. Like, they're not supposed to usually go against each other. So if Trump actually, they say Trump has not been on this as much. He has been not focusing on this. If you see him, he's been focusing on the war now. He's been focusing on tariffs. He fell back on the tariffs since he can't get that. And economy, pretty much economy, money, and all that stuff. This hasn't been at his forefront. So hopefully the rest of 2026, hopefully athletes, y'all can make it through the rest of these years, because he might just leave it to the states to make, choose who gets paid. But then you're gonna have a whole bunch of athletes trying to go to a certain state or certain states because they want to get paid. Theoretical, but it builds the case, right? So Tallahassee, Florida, which is not too far from Valdosta. Florida is hoping for the best and preparing for the worst when it comes to Congress or the Trump administration getting involved in the already convoluted world of college sports. I want y'all to be clear. I don't read all this and sit down all day. I go through this with you all. So the state university leaders who launched a task force on inter-college athletics Monday are pushing Congress to pass an antitrust exemption that could regulate student athlete endorsement deals and protect schools from possible lawsuits. But with DC lawmakers gridlocked and executive action from But with DC lawmakers gridlocked and executive action from President Donald Trump looming, can I get rid of this? I've seen this ad too many times. Okay, but it's still blocking it. Y'all see that? So President Trump looming yet uncertainty. Florida is working to craft. Definitely can't see that text behind it. But I guess we have to chuck that up as a deal with it, I guess. I don't think we need this right here. Close some of these tabs out. That's crazy. It's still doing that. Let me hit the refresh button. I really can't see past those words. I feel like it's going to be some important words on there, and it's still... All right. D.C. lawmakers in executive action for President Donald Trump looming yet uncertainty. Florida is working to craft state-level policies. Okay, Florida is working to craft state-level policies that could install some guardrails for schools doling out millions of dollars to stay competitive, even without a clear federal standard. So it's like a wildfire right now with students getting paid all these millions of dollars. So some of these college athletes are going to become millionaires and say, yeah, that was a crazy time. They just called me up and it was like, we'll pay you $1 million to come play sports here. And this is why I tell you that the Department of Education should be regulating this right now. Technically, I feel like Department of Education, with my higher ed experience, because I'll be seeing it for what it is, I got to tell myself that at this point. The Department of Education and the NCAA, because the NCAA is separate from the Department of Education, apparently, they need to be working together on regulating this stuff. Because it's kind of like schools are just dumping money, as they said, they're just dumping money into stuff. And you're like, why does it matter, Henry? I'm not an athlete. I'm trying to save money in college. Who you think gonna foot the bill with student fees, service fee, whatever fees they gonna hit you with? Why you think the cost of your college is gonna go up? Like, this is where, you know, students have to step up, advocate for themselves, not student athletes, students, because you're paying for the jerseys, you're paying for this, all this other good stuff, gymnasium and football fields, baseball fields. And, you know, I'm just saying, like, if they're saying that this is a wild, because Politico is a pretty good source. If they're saying that it's like wildfire, and Florida is even like, we need to get guardrails. Florida loves their football. Florida loves their sports. And they're even like, we need guardrails on y'all dueling out this money like crazy. So, or they could just not like athletes getting paid or this early. Some people just don't like the young people getting paid this early. They feel like it shouldn't be like that. I don't know. That's up for the people to decide. So, or government, whoever wants to put their input. This is just my opinion, right? Trying to make it interesting though, right? Something for us to talk about. So Florida is working to craft that state level, as we said. Quotations. We don't want to do something. That's what I read before. Alon Levine said, we don't want to do something or say something that is going to disadvantage these major institutions. Who chairs the board of governors? But at the same time, we have an obligation, a fiduciary obligation, to make sure the values of our institutions are not sacrificed to pursue what seems like a good deal today, that in 5 or 10 years may, in hindsight, have been a bad decision. Always got to think about the future. Florida is in a unique position as college sports evolve. That Florida is in a unique position as college sports evolve. The state has several public universities, each with their own major athletic programs, as we said, under the same system umbrella. State leaders have attempted to stay ahead of the curve amid massive changes unleashed by the House v. NCES settlement case, which kickstarted the name, image, and likeness era by allowing schools to make direct payments to student athletes for the first time. Nobly, the Board of Governors last year allowed Florida universities to steer millions of dollars toward athletic programs that long have been self-supporting through what is supposed to be a temporary fix. But with other schools and states throwing millions into college sports and private equity entering the arena, university leaders fear Florida could fall behind. Schools are searching for new revenue streams. Think jersey patches or corporate sponsorships, but those will eventually max out, leaving universities looking for new wells to tap, said University of Florida Atlantic Director Scott Strickland. College athletics is the only entity in our country where a group of nonprofits compete in zero-sum competition, said Strickland. who is serving on the, I'm trying to figure out what he meant by that. I'm really trying to see what he meant by that. That is a quote by that. Hey, my mouse is not highlighting. I'm really trying to see what he means by that. I'm really trying to figure out what they mean by that. I wish I had somebody to help me out with this right now. So College Athletics is the only entity in our country where a group of nonprofits compete in zero-sum competition. But they said Strickland, who is serving on the Board of Governors panel. He's on the Board of Governors panel? Interesting. Huh. Interesting. Not weird at all. Quotation. And when you have that environment, there is never enough. You are never going to be able to control your costs because there is not any amount of money you won't spend if you have it. Florida's College Sports Task Force is expected to roll out a slate of recommendations over the next few weeks addressing a list of issues, namely building a quotation, a fair and sustainable NIL ecosystem. University leaders are attempting to balance maintaining Florida's competitiveness with other top states while also ensuring that student athletes and their education are put at the forefront. Because University of Florida is known for their great education. Usually, I know some people might say, what? But remember, they are a top research university. Fun fact, you wonder why Gatorade is called Gatorade? Because Gatorade was founded at the University of Florida by a person who went to the University of Florida. Prime example why research is really important, because I bet a lot of y'all drink that Gatorade. I seen a guy today in the car. He had a Gatorade bottle drinking out of it. I don't know why people do that sometimes, but they drink out of Gatorade. Not the Gatorade bottle, but you know the sports one when you that one. He had that one in the car. And so college is worthless. Okay, well, people are inventing products you got in your house and they went to college. Sorry, that's a shot at everybody who think college is not important. And so a top university wish list, though, would be tackling an antitrust exemption, not unlike, I need a lawyer in here right now, because would be tackling an antitrust exemption. When I hear antitrust, it's like usually related to monopoly, but it's like antitrust is related to competition, mostly. An antitrust exemption, not unlike what some in the House already proposed. School leaders suggested Monday there should be strict national guidelines for NIL and revenue sharing, as we said before. And then we just said this Trump, along with NCEA and college athletic conferences, previously supported federal legislation that would provide antitrust exemptions. But there now appears to be a renewed focus on saving college sports, as Trump hosted a meeting on the issue earlier this month featuring about 50 people. And didn't we just talk about this? Governor Ron DeSantis. I promise you guys, I don't read these articles, but we stay so informed on stuff that it makes sense. It rhymes. And so, including Governor Ron DeSantis, Trump pledged I'm telling y'all, that is why Governor Ron DeSantis saved Ben Sass. I did a presentation on that. I should have got can y'all believe my professor did not give me 100 on that? I painted that picture so perfectly that I should get 100. That should have been recommended to future classes. That's how good I did on that. I'm just saying, professor. I'm just saying. But Governor Ron DeSantis and Trump, they, you know what I'm saying? They like that. They locked in. And then when Ben Sass was talking that smack, he wasn't with what Trump was talking about. Ben Sass wasn't with all that. So Ben Sass had to go out of University of Florida. He had to, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Well, not the University of Florida, but when Ben Sass was, I believe he was a senator. Hold on, y'all. I think he was a senator. Let me see. Ben Sass. I think, yeah, he was a United States senator. And then they booted him out of being a United States senator because he was talking smack to Trump. And you can't have Republicans fighting. Doesn't look good at all. Doesn't look good. So they sent him to the University of Florida, and he messed that up as well. And we already know that too. I talked about that in multiple live streams. I always talk about it. Ben Sass was spending that bread on his homeboys. He put one of his homeboys on $800,000 a year, pretty much $1 million, 200, 500, 200, 500. Yeah, he was putting. That is why I said the traditional way of working in higher ed is not the move. That's why we started speaking on behalf. Thank you, grad school, because it reminds me every day why I just keep going. And so, Governor Ron DeSantis pledged a very all-encompassing quotation executive order. Trump, oh, that's a period right there. Governor Ron DeSantis. Trump pledged a very well-encompassing executive order would be coming soon, but the president also acknowledged his action was likely to be challenged in court. An outcome Florida officials raised Monday as they needled Congress to move. So it's right here in quotations. I don't know who they quoting yet, but Peter Collins. I love the effort, but let's say they come up with some executive order. Well, we got in part of this mess because of federal judges going against the NCAA, said Peter Collins, chair of the Florida State University Board of Trustees. You don't think there is going to be a federal judge out there that finds executive order invalid 20 minutes after it's signed. I think they are fooling themselves. I think Congress has got to be the one to do it. So honestly, in all matrimony, if I said it right, NIL is probably not going nowhere because Congress did it, federal, and the only way for this to be undid is to be federal again through Congress. So it sounds like it's stuck, but that's why they said the state can do something. But if the state does that, what they do, like we said earlier, if the state does that, they're going to have players going to different states to play ball, and that hurts the institution because institutions, what we going to now, some institutions, then you're gonna be like this. New law would ban colleges from using tuition to pay athletes. Some institutions are using money, different, like I tell you guys, they tell us one thing with the money, like we pull money from donors, we pull money from this, we pull money from that. But honestly, I really and truly believe at times, most of the time, they're using your tuition money to fund the athletes. And right now, it builds my case with this law. All right, so this local news right here. This is by Olivia Bozar. This is in what state is this? Pennsylvania, PA. So, and that's all for the Florida situation, really. I wanted to get into that. But now we get into like using tuition money to pay college athletes. So look, if we gotta pay money, if we gotta use your tuition money to pay athletes, maybe we should up your tuition by 5%. That's a lot. Well, 3 to 5%. And then that's not including like for the next 4 years. 3% over the course of 4 years is 3, 6, 9. That's 12% on your tuition right there. And that's a 12% increase for them. Now, let's see what they're talking about. With NCAA rules now letting student athletes get paid, some lawmakers in Harrisburg want to make sure that student tuition dollars are not funneled into football or any other collegiate sport. That's a real, who said, who? Okay, Harrisburg. I don't know what Harrisburg is at. But college, probably in Pennsylvania, but college athletic departments can now use portion of their revenue to directly pay student athletes. But new legislation, if passed, would make sure no tuition dollars are thrown into that pot. Because if that happens, remember, your tuition gonna get raised. And most of you all like going to universities. So you definitely should be listening. It all comes back to you paying more money going to school, but it also brings back why you should go to a 2-year college. Or not go, but start at a 2-year college and bridge to a 4-year. That's one of the things. I never said it openly, but now that we keep reading these stories and breaking it down, it builds the reason to say, I think I see why this can build a case on you paying more money going to university. I really don't understand it fully how schools are losing money paying the athletes, but I get it because universities don't make that much money already. So it's like, where are you getting $1.5 million to pay an athlete? But it's like, if they are, all right, let me put this in perspective. Numbers don't lie, but they sure make finance complicated. It's one of the reasons why I didn't major in finance. But finance is finance. I'm not arguing with that. You can pay a university president, Alex. You is my witness right now. You can pay a university president about $1 million a year. You can pay a university coach about double-digit $1 million a year. The moment an athlete needs to get paid $1 million a year, it's a problem. So technically, you're saying that because the athletes just got paid, what it's been going on for like when they did this, like it's been going on for like 2 or 3 years, I think. What the NIL would say that, and so the years before the NIL happened, it was a problem paying these people millions of dollars. Then that's what I'm assuming, because why is it all of a sudden a problem now paying the athletes $1 million? They're not paying the whole roster $1 million. They're paying them probably like one person $1 million, and the rest probably get like no lie 50,000, 40,000, and if the other players are getting paid. But y'all get what I'm saying? If you are watching this, do you get what I'm saying? If you do catch this, do you get like it should have been a problem paying the university president $1 million, because presidents get millions of dollars already. Head coaches, athletic directors, they get millions of dollars already before the NIL happened. So that should have been a problem. I'm just saying. So it seems like they're stretching it out, and it's like we can't stretch no more until it boom has to reset. That's what it feels like. They're pulling and pulling and pulling, and that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm theoretically feeling. And so the evolving landscape of revenue sharing in collegiate athletics has benefited student athletes at some D1 schools like Penn State. But some lawmakers worry about where that money might come from in the future. Senator Langerhawk, our 35th district, is proposing legislation that would prevent colleges from dipping into tax and tuition dollars to pay athletes. As I said before, tax dollars are for, with the state related. Okay, tax dollars are for, with the state related. That goes to provide an in-state tuition discount. That's why I always tell you guys, in-state tuition discount. Like that's where this stuff, deeper it comes from. That's how you get these discounts out here. But okay, let's keep going. And that's what it was, its purpose from. They did this. They butchered this. And that is, because I like to say it out loud, and that is what it was, its purpose from the beginning. Talking about the in-state discount tuition, in-state tuition from the beginning. And that is what its purpose will be going forward, Langerhawk said. There are already restrictions on state appropriated funds, but a law like this will prevent tuition hikes for the purpose of paying athletes. Didn't I just say that? I just said that. I read that from the article. They said there are already restrictions on state appropriated funds, but a law like this will prevent tuition hikes. Just said that. Why is this important? Because people think this channel don't. Make sure I'm moving. I'm sorry, Mike. People don't think sometimes on this live screen, you got to reiterate it sometimes that we're not providing you with actionable things. And this is very actionable. This helps you gear, like, for the people out there in Pennsylvania, this is really good news if this gets signed. I don't know if this got signed. I don't know that. But if it follows through in Pennsylvania, they looking out for you all not to have tuition increases. While states like me, I'm in Georgia, but I'm not in college no more, could be looking at a lot of tuition increases. And that can, like, I really don't know what's going to make this fall. Like, okay, let's just say higher education, universities, they keep overstretching the money. What's going to happen? I'm trying to see what's going to happen. Usually, it's got to be something like a ban, a bubble, something going on. And the math is mathing. Bro, why you say that? I'm live streaming. Why you say that?
Why I say what?
Okay. What's up, bro?
What's happening, buddy?
Nothing. Live streaming, breaking down these. What we talking about right now? We talking about a new law to ban colleges. Well, it's banning, like, your tuition money ain't gonna be used to pay athletes in college.
I was just talking to one of my homeboys. You live streaming right now, so one of my homeboys. That's all I'm gonna say. And he's a dude who lives a different lifestyle, and but he's smart though. He just come from a different environment. He older than us.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, bro, I'm trying to really get in on stocks and shit like that. I'm trying to be like the guys who invented Palantir. And I said, oh, you know about Palantir? He said, yeah, I know about Palantir, bro. He said, that where the money at? I said, my brother been in that stock for a little minute now, but I told him about Grab. And he was like, oh yeah.
Disclaimer, not financial advice. Don't be going. Disclaimer. Keep going.
So then I put him down on Grab and everything like that. He said that OpenAI supposed to be going public pretty soon in June.
That's what they say.
So yeah, man, I thought about you and everything like that. So I just wanted to give you a quick call and everything.
I appreciate that.
Ready for tomorrow, bro?
Yeah, man, I am ready for tomorrow, man. You ready for tomorrow?
Like, I'm gonna let you know, bro. It's going down tomorrow. You know that, right?
Okay, young Dolph.
I'm just saying. How many people you got in the live stream right now?
Man, I got 100 right now.
How many people you got in the stream right now?
I got 100, bro. You don't believe me?
Bro, I ain't talking about no bots.
How many organs you got?
I don't know.
Alex, how many organs we got in our body?
No, but answer this one. What's the biggest organ in your body?
Your eyeballs. Huh? The biggest organ in the body? The heart. No, because then I'll be dead probably. Biggest organ? What's the biggest organ, Tari?
The biggest organ is your intestines, no?
Intestines. Your skin. I know, I said the same thing.
Intestines stretch like 50 football fields.
So we got a total of 78 organs. So yeah, I got about 100 people on the live screen because they got 78 organs. So I got about 100 people on the live screen.
Anyway, so that means you got one person in the live stream. And you talking about education. I was trying to figure out where are you live streaming on, bro? Because I went on your YouTube and it's not on your YouTube. And then I saw a video of me sitting on the floor.
You saw a video of me. So it's live. If you go in there right now, go on YouTube right now.
All right.
That's a regular video. But YouTube don't bump with me. Yeah, it should be like showing you this live right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube don't bump with me yet like that. So they don't be feeding it. Like YouTube not even telling you I'm live, right? And most people, like if you watch somebody who go live or whatever, it tells you like, oh, this person is live, So I don't even got that reach yet like that. Yeah, you just got in here.
Yeah, so
you might echo now.
Nah, I ain't got my other phone turned up that loud.
Oh.
So you is ready for tomorrow, though, brother?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm finna be so lit tomorrow, bro.
Oh,
I'm just
my
letting you know right now.
Oh, my
So Fafsa
goodness.
said I'm gonna have to chill out. She said everybody's gonna be so proper and everybody's gonna be sophisticated and you're gonna have to calm down. And I'm like, you don't know me. My brother knows exactly who I am. When I come out, I bring the out,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna let you finish your live stream, but I got some stuff going on tonight. You're gonna be so proud.
Okay. You need to be on curfew time, man. You gotta work tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to go to sleep right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Hit me up when you get done live streaming.
Tonight or tomorrow?
If I don't pick up, I'm asleep.
Call this phone?
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's the bro right there. Hold on, let me see. We had a FaceTime call. Another one had a group FaceTime call. But we can't be on the phone too much. Can't do that. So, yeah. Yeah, that financial advice. You should go watch financial channels. You should go watch this guy named Amit, AMIT. I watch his YouTube channels. You should watch Wall Street Trapper. I watch him as well. And those are like my only two right now. Gotta keep it short and concise. So where we was. So there are already restrictions on state appropriated funds, but a law like this will prevent tuition. It will prevent tuition hikes. It will prevent that. So then it says quotations. This would just further clarify that those dollars cannot be used to compensate athletes. And then also it goes one step further and states that no tuition across the state, not just a state related, but any state university cannot be used to compensate student athletes. That name right there, Langer Hawk said. And so, but even with legislative lockbox in place, there will still be no limit on how much student athletes can earn. Langer Hawk also said the legislation will not impact how universities pay for upgrades to sports facilities. That's good. It said will not impact how universities pay for upgrades to sport facilities. But when you upgrade to sports facilities, you still play a role in having to pay for that when you go to the school. So hopefully you get to use that. And if you me, I'm going to go into the new facility because I paid for this as a student. And it says, like the work being done to Beaver Stadium, those projects are often covered by other funding streams. Like I said, they pull this money from different pots. So I thought that was interesting though. Shout out to Pennsylvania. That's in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So for my people out there who are talking about admissions, a lot of people have been asking me admission questions lately. State looks to ramp up early college enrollment. So what does that mean? Advertisement, goodbye. So this is in what state? This is by Sam Drydale. State House News Service. Like and subscribe, please. What is the name? What's the name of the state? I don't know what state I got this from. Well, I guess it's Worcester. I don't know what Worcester is, but hydrate. I ran out of water. Perfect. When Governor Mara Henley set a goal in January to grow early college enrollment tenfold. I believe this is literally about dual enrollment, I think. From about 10,000 students, from about 10,000 students today to 100,000 by 2036. Still 10 years out. She framed it as both an economic imperative and promise to families. We are going to help kids reach their goals and save them money. Henley said in her televised State of the Commonwealth address, she credited partnerships with higher education for helping high school students to graduate with an associate's degree in hand by earning college credits at no cost to them or their families. So yeah, they're talking about like dual enrollment and stuff. So we can keep going. Now the machinery behind the ambition is beginning to take shape. Education leaders, lawmakers, and college students gathered at the State House Wednesday to sketch out what it would take to reach that scale. A conversation that blended urgency with realism about the barriers ahead. As officials pointed to growing momentum on Beacon Hill, they acknowledged that transforming early college from a promising program into a system serving roughly 40% of the state's high schoolers will require new infrastructure, policy changes, and sustained investment. I think early college is good for students. I feel like if I would have did early college in high school, I probably would have been a better student in high school. Personally, it wasn't bad, but just better. Being exposed to a different environment of college. Because college, it was different from high school, man. High school, I always say this, high school was really hard. I think I speak for the choir when I say that. High school was really hard. You just take a whole bunch of classes that, like, I'm not a STEM major. I wasn't. I'm never gonna be. I was not built to be a STEM major. It just don't click. Like the same way some people can't. The same way some people have hard times communicating with humans. That's how I feel when I'm doing STEM related classes. Like it just don't click for me. I'm just a organic. I like to identify as a really good communicator and understanding people's perspectives. And so, yeah. So this is in what state is this in? Like y'all really are not claiming y'all state up in here, man. So it gotta be, yeah, it's in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, if I say it, Lord Jesus, I'm probably butchering. They probably like Massachusetts. How you say it? I don't know. It's Massachusetts. I hope I'm saying it right. And so but it's about dual enrollment pretty much. Everybody knows today, I hope, that dual enrollment is growing, but a lot of parents don't know about dual enrollment. I know for me, I wasn't able to do dual enrollment because my school was prioritizing certain students. At high school, when I was in, they were prioritizing certain students to do dual enrollment, and I didn't get a chance to do dual enrollment. And so if you are a professional, if you are a parent, if you are someone listening, hit the like and subscribe. But you definitely should let your kids do the dual enrollment. Like let them knock out like the college math, the college English, because that is like something that's is redundant and repetitive. I think if you do it for 4 years in high school, I think you should be able to skip it in college. But because you take math and English like literally every year, like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior high school, then freshman year of college, and it's like, my goodness. And some advice I always recommend is don't take math and English in the same semester. You should take like math in one semester and take English in the next. They're both heavily time consuming. I think they should put more credit hours on that. I'm in Georgia, but I think they should put more credit hours on math and English. I think they should be like more 5 or 6 credit hours personally, because those two classes right there can feel like full time, but they only rate them as 3 credit hours. And so, yeah, if you take both of those, you pretty much are like, yeah. But that's just the academic advising in me right there. So they're pretty much doing pretty good out there in Massachusetts. This should be Massachusetts. Let me see real quick. This should be Massachusetts. Yeah, Massachusetts. They're doing pretty good with the dual enrollment. I don't really think we should have to go into too much detail with that. And then this one right here. So you probably heard me talk about this a lot. This is the Daily Cardinal. This is, what state is this? Tom Tiffany, governor. Is he the governor now? He running for governor. Tom Tiffany wants to freeze in-state tuition. Why this former regent says that is a bad idea. Let's look up who Tom Tiffany is. Might be a popular name in the future. And this is in the state of Wisconsin. Dang, I couldn't think of that. I was like, I just think I seen it. It's in the state of Wisconsin. And this was written by, I always like to shout out to the author who wrote this. This is by Addison Dema. It's one of them. They're going to get me. They're going to be like, he does not know how to pronounce names that good. Don't get me, y'all. Don't get me. I'll be trying. So, all right, Ben says it was good. Whoa, is that Ben says now? Whoa, where is he now? Hold on. I'm being nosy. He got a beard and everything. Oh, wow. He looks, I don't want to say, Al, you need to come see how Ben says looks now. Ben Sass don't look well. Or he doesn't look like his typical. Hold on. Senator Sass was diagnosed last December with stage 4 pancreatic. Yeah, cancer. You heard about that?
Well, I just know what you were trying to say.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was about to say he looked rough in this picture. Oh, feel bad for him. Oh, well.
You don't usually make it out of stage 4.
Yeah, that's why he said he's not dead yet. I was like, what is he talking about? Huh?
What Trump said?
What I just said? No, that's what Ben Sass said. He was like, I'm not dead yet. And I was like, what? That was like, because I seen the picture on Google, and then I think y'all can see it too on the live screen. It was this picture right here. Well, if you see it, it was this picture. It was that picture. Oh wow. All right, so y'all heard the news about Ben Sass. We didn't even see that earlier. Oh man. All right, so that was a moment of silence for Ben. We're going to Tom Tiffany. So Tom Tiffany is a United States representative, but I think he is running for governor. Yeah, he is running for governor. Tom Tiffany for governor. Secure a brighter future and join Tom Tiffany's campaign today. Okay. He's running for governor. So that's why they're saying this about Tom Tiffany. Man, you know what? I'm closing out all these articles. And I got to write a LinkedIn post to y'all about it. Got to do better. But so Tom Tiffany says that he wants to freeze in-state tuition. And they said, why this former regent says that's a bad idea. I'm gonna be honest with you. Regents always say it's a bad idea to freeze tuition because of money. Like they have to keep up with inflation, economy, whatever. And honestly, tuition has been outpacing. I'm not the biggest economic financial person, but numbers is numbers. And if y'all been outplacing inflation this long at universities, but if you're competing with yourself as a campus because you got these amenities or you overspending or whatever, you probably can't afford an in-state freeze, like a tuition freeze. And so former regent Bob Etwell reflected on, who is Bob Etwell? Is he? Because some of these people be like company runners and CEOs before they. So he just a guy, I guess, that works at, if that's the right person. But as you see, Bob is the co-founder of Nicolay Bank Shares. As you see, I don't know if that's the same one here, or I don't know if that's the same person here. But former regent Bob Etwell reflected on the last decade long tuition freeze that ended in 2023 amid renewed calls for a freeze. Republican gubernatorial frontrunner Tom Tiffany announced plans to renew the state's tuition freeze during a University of Wisconsin-Madison campus visit on February 19th. Excuse me. Tiffany, who currently serves as a U.S. representative for Wisconsin 7th Congressional District and is the only Republican left in the governor's race, said the freeze is in response to a planned 5% tuition increase for the 2025-2026 academic year. And you probably remember me saying this. I didn't know Wisconsin had a 5% increase plan, or they did it this year that just passed. A lot of schools have been increasing tuition. Like I said, I just gave an example about a 5% increase. I had dropped it to 3%, but yeah, they increasing that tuition at universities, and it's usually for all universities. When they do that, most of the time, or a school will up it if they need to. So, and the $256 million funding increase, the University of Wisconsin system received in the last state budget cycle. Yeah. So University of Wisconsin system. Remember, I always tell you guys why I tell you that, because that's how you can learn if you ever need a letter of recommendation from these people, internship. every state has their university of state system. Every state has one because you need governance and regulation. And so the last UW system tuition freeze came in 2013. I was just going into high school. The legislature and former Republican Governor Scott Walker made the move in response to the University Wisconsin system reaching $1 billion in reserves, a historical precedent, while continuing to raise tuition above the rate of inflation. Didn't I just say that? It's the same stuff sometimes, but it rhymes, and it just rhymes, man. And yeah, just I feel good that I be on point when what I'm talking about. It just makes me like, one day we'll get the we get the attention that we so you can get this information and know how to maneuver. And so Edwell, who was appointed by Walker in 2017, told the Daily Cardinal the tuition freeze was ineffective and an unhelpful effort that really constrained what everyone could do on campus. That's what Edwell said. Edwell, remember, he's he was a regent. He was part of he was either part of the University of Wisconsin system, University of Wisconsin. He should have been part of the, what they call it? The University of Wisconsin system. That's what they called it, Lord. And I'll be getting all these systems. And so I just think a tuition freeze is a bad way to make decisions. It's kind of like refusing to address the underlying issues and refusing to communicate about them, Edwell said. I think it's the opposite. And I don't know if Edwell actually worked on the campus. He was just more like a regent. He was pretty much like a board member. And sometimes board members are only going off of their experience of like running a company, and schools are not a company. Even though they deal with financials, I don't think he has the higher ed experience. I don't know who Edwell is, but let's keep going. Edwell further theorized the keyword, theorized. Edwell further theorized the tuition freeze may have incentivized the University of Wisconsin-Madison in particular to enroll more out-of-state and international students. Whose tuition is not subject to the tuition freeze, who is not subject to the freeze, compared to in-state students who were restrained to only paying the frozen amount of tuition. I don't see how that incentivized the University of Wisconsin-Madison in particular to enroll more out-of-state international students. I guess it made the school have more of a reason to not get more in-state students. And like I can see, like, just an example, guys. So like they probably like, all right, since they froze the tuition, we're only going to enroll, we're going to have an incoming freshman class of like only 20% of in-state, 50% of out-of-state. That's 70, and that's 70. So 30% of international students. So that's 100%. So the 20% of in-state is the lowest part. So they don't have to rely so much on the in-state tuition as part of the money. They can rely on the international, because international and out-of-state are charged extremely high to students who are coming from different parts of the world, coming from different states to go to school. Flowed that beautifully. I thought I was going to butcher that. And so I can see that. I see why he said that now. Okay, I had to break it down for a second. The freeze lasted a decade, with the Board of Regents voting to extend it multiple times, and Democratic Governor Tony Evers supporting a continued freeze in his first state budget. The freeze eventually ended in 2023. Edward recalled the original intent of the tuition freeze, saying it stemmed from a lack of cooperation between the University of Wisconsin system and legislature. I think the tuition freeze is a reflection of legislature frustration at the attitude of the system. And frankly, the governor's office toward legislative concerns that are, in my opinion, quite valid, Edwell said. What happens when you don't address the conflict that needs to be addressed is you get a bad policy like tuition freezes. Throughout the freeze, the legislature tightened the University of Wisconsin budget without the ability to raise tuition to keep pace with inflation. Campuses across the University of Wisconsin system cut programs and laid off faculty. Dang, so they trying to make it seem like, I don't know, they're painting that in a picture that because we couldn't raise tuition, that's the reason why y'all getting laid off. And I don't know, that's really just poor management on the university with their money, because a real organization that handles their stuff appropriately and not having too many programs, like they probably had, when they cut them programs, they probably cut programs that didn't need it, that did not need to be needed. So if they cut programs, normally when you cut a program, which is a major, when you cut that, you really don't need the instructors depending on what program that you're cutting. That's why they said they laid off faculty. And so that probably was a good thing because they had too many programs that probably had like one, like, guys, there are really programs out there that you might be going to a school and you don't realize that, like, oh, they got what I want to do, but it might be only 5 people in the classroom. I think actually she's gonna get me for this. Alex, when you did Spanish, it was like 10 of y'all in the classroom, right? When you did the Spanish as a minor, it wasn't that many of y'all in the classroom, right? So, like, yeah, Alice was in Spanish, and there wasn't that many of them in the classroom. And it's not saying that the Spanish wasn't helpful. It's saying that many students don't do it at the school. If many students are not doing it at the school, you really don't need the professor there, essentially. It's kind of like if we don't get more students enrolled in the program, because whoever is over that program, their goal is to bring in students, which brings in money. Makes sense. It makes sense. And so yeah, goes hand in hand. But I'm not a faculty, I'm not a lead professor, I'm not none of that. And so I don't know how difficult that is, because professors got to grade papers, they gotta, and you know, like you got some students who got questions, they got to interact with their students, they got to grade, they got to go to meetings, they got to deal with politics. Hey, I feel you, professors. I don't think a tuition freeze is the reason, though. I don't think a tuition freeze. I think this guy is just being like, I don't know, but it's always interesting. So I want to come on, fix yourself. Fix yourself. I don't record y'all. How do I? All right, so that's pretty much it. We covered a lot of topics. We do have to do a college review, so we're not done. We have to do a college review. It's only right that we do a college review. It is Friday. I did say we was gonna do a college review, and I did say that. I thought I was gonna have the financial aid specialist on with me this Friday, so we have to cover college, which is normal, which is fair because I still haven't did St. Mary's, and they got knocked out of March Madness, and now I need to. I think I'm gonna pick another institution that's in March Madness, and then that would be my homework for the weekend. So let's see. Excuse me. Alabama just got knocked out, guys. Michigan made to the next round. UConn, as y'all can see my screen. They're playing. Oh, St. John's lost to Duke by 5. I thought they were gonna win. I thought them boys were gonna win. I guess we could do St. John's. St. John's is pretty popular, but they just got knocked out. I kind of want to clickbait a little bit. Like, this school's still in March Madness. Who in the Final Four? Is anybody in the Final Four already? Or Elite 8? I said Final Four. Purdue, Iowa. I think we did Iowa already. I just never edited. Okay. Let's do St. John's. I'm really feeling St. John's. I see them a lot. I never thought about St. John's. So let me see something right quick. Yes, guys, I'm gonna just copy this. Can I? Oh no, I can't. All right, so that didn't work. St. John's. I don't really know anything about St. John's, to be personal, besides their basketball program. I don't even know if they're good at academics. I'm trying to find out. It's in New York, so it gotta be pretty decent, right? It gotta be pretty decent. Dang, camera going all on my face. All on my face. But camera, I feel like be zooming in on me sometimes. I'm like, hey, back up. So, all right. So we got St. John's University. I don't know if they're even considered a high. We're gonna learn about them. So Queens, New York, exactly. Hey, I wonder who went to this school. I wonder did J. Cole didn't go to this school. Let's see. We're gonna talk about it. I wonder did J. Cole go to this school? He visited this school on his little fall off tour, Trump sale. And so St. John's University is in Queens, New York. St. John's University is a private Catholic university. I did not know that it was a private Catholic university in Queens, New York. I did not know that. Most schools, of course, are founded as churches before they transition into they were founded as like they say Catholic schools, but churches turned into schools. Like that's why a lot of theology relates to education. It's like a moving variable. Fun fact. And so these are Chris Mullen, Mark Jackson. Who is Hugh Carey? See, I don't know who Hugh Carey is, but he went to the school. Let's see, he a Noble alumni. Oh, former United States representative. Hugh Carey. You know who Hugh Carey is, Alex? Hugh Carey. You ever heard of Hugh Carey? I ain't never heard of him, but he went to St. John's. He's a Noble alumni. Random fun fact. It's a fun fact moment. Mark Jackson, head coach NBA. Okay, not much about St. John's. Noble alumni. Huh? There's some guy named Hugh Carey. I just said it out loud because he was a Noble alumni. He was a politician though. J. Cole College. Oh, guess what college J. Cole went to? Alice does not want to talk to me today, y'all. She just Al. J. Cole went to St. John's University. I really didn't know that. You walked off on me again. I know he always said I went to New York City, Queens. You know, I went off to school up in New York City. So I'm gonna talk to you real quick. This is funny. So I'm gonna name this. This is J. Cole's column. You know, hopefully get some clicks. I didn't know that. So, okay. So apparently somebody posted on Instagram, but I'm gonna read the AI overview. This is pretty ironic. So J. Cole graduated from St. John's University in New York City with a bachelor's of science in communications and a minor in business in 2007. Dang. Okay. Graduating magna cum laude with a 3.82 GPA. So he was doing that schoolwork. He attended on an academic scholarship, initially studying computer science before switching majors. That's all we got. So you know what that means, guys? We gotta get an interview with J. Cole. It's only right. Like, why would you go to New York and then go to school in state? You know, was you trying to tie the music in with like college? If music didn't work out, like that's a good. I didn't know that. I knew he had his degree, but I didn't know he. And then I knew he played basketball. This gets interesting. This man just gets more interesting every year. J. Cole, I want an interview. I don't know how to reach you because I don't got the normal social media. So we'll have to figure that out one day. I need an interview. It could be virtual. It could be 10 minutes. Should it could be 5 minutes. One question. Why you with this? You know. So okay. J. Cole. That is crazy. I know he went to St. John's. I probably read that on the bus. I remember on the city bus, I was like, "Oh, J. Cole went to college," but all right. So, all right, St. John's University, guys. That's pretty cool. He went to a private school, private nonprofit. Interesting. So that explains why he did the trunk sale and why he went to St. John's University. Because I was like, why he went to St. John's? Because most of his schools are HBCUs, but he went to St. John's. That was interesting. So St. John's University on New York, their main campus, which is in Queens, New York. They have about 9,500 undergraduate students. You know me, I like to show you their school webpage because what's the point of live streaming if I can't show you this beautiful website they put together? Yeah, you see them? You see him? Yeah. They got him up here. You see St. John's University. You know, they just got knocked out of March Madness. The boys pretty good, though. You see it, you know, showing them off a little bit, showing them off a little bit, showing them off a little bit. Dang, it's a long scroll. Showing them off a little bit. So, wrong. It's a 4-year, it's a private nonprofit. It's in the city. It's a medium student population. Remember that if you go to school in the city, guys, that could be a lot of money. But remember, J. Cole was on a academic scholarship. So when he did his financial aid at that time, he probably had a good GPA coming out of high school. And then, you know, they pretty much shopped. He shopped there and he was like, he pretty much ain't got to pay nothing to go to school. So that's an interesting conversation to see. Like, he probably don't understand the full. He probably do. I don't know. But it'll be an interesting interview to ask him, like, you know, that whole process and how that went. And so we don't never talk about people who went to college that's celebrities and famous. We won't never talk about their college journey. And then that could be good for a lot of you all who want to take the J. Cole approach, you know, go to college, become a rapper. I mean, an artist. And it's really interesting. It says a lot. And so special destinations, as I say, it's a Roman Catholic. It's it's a destination for Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institutions. So, guys, when you say Indian, some people say Indians is Native Americans. Native Americans are different from Indians. I've been noticing people when I hear them talking, they say Indians as Native Americans. It's Native American Indians. There's a big difference. And so, the graduation rate is 70%. That could be higher, but it's over the 59% rate. They have an average annual cost of $30,000 a year. That's over the 4-year college midpoint. Now, in my Katranian, I think I said that word right, Katranian. I think it's Katranian. In my, I like to say opposite view, we want that to be below the midpoint for 4-year colleges because that means you're getting a good deal. If it's over the midpoint, you're paying more than the midpoint price. You're paying over the price. You want to pay under usually. That's the goal when I want you to bridge from a 2-year to a 4-year. So now I want to verify. Remember, this is based on if you are like, they always factor in that you're going to get some type of financial aid money or some aid money, like some assistance to pay for school. They always expect that. So this is discounted. This is probably not the real actual price. So now we have to go back to St. John's University. Now, St. John's University, it's always a magnifying glass. It's always a magnifying glass, guys. You see that? It's always a magnifying glass. And y'all can't see it, but tuition and fees. Go. So then tuition and fees right there. Hold on. Open that. So tuition and financial aid. This is the C. Oh, now look at that. The impact of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act on financial aid. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act includes several significant changes to federal student aid that will take effect on July 1, 2026. That is good that they put that up there. That is really good. That's the first time I've seen that. And y'all know we research schools often. That's the first time I've seen that. And we've been talking about all these changes coming in 2026. And I hope everybody's ready come July. And so file for financial aid. We're trying to find the tuition and fees of St. John's University. Now, how you gonna tell me to come to tuition and fees? There you go. No, I'm good, Johnny. And so click here to see the tuition rates for 2025 to 2026 academic year. So they have not put their 2026 to 2027 prices up yet. Let's see. Oh, that's just information. We want to see undergraduate, because I know most of y'all are going to be undergraduate unless somebody say, oh, look at their graduate, look at their law program. So look, academic year 2025, 2026, fall/spring 2025, 2026. This actually makes sense when I listen to J. Cole's songs when he said, you're going to go off to school and get a degree. I'm going to be stuck here with a number 2, nickel and diamond. Oh, man, I have some interview questions with J. Cole, man, because, like, that is making sense. Like, he really was telling that story, and that makes sense right there. That's interesting right there. So the base tuition, this is for fall and spring for the year. So they're saying that base tuition for traditional and distant learning students, this is like, you're going to get the base traditional, probably taking regular classes. You're not in the business school. You're not, pharmacy, D major. You're just base tuition. This is you. This is you right here. And then they're assuming that you're going to be 12 to 18 credit hours. That means full time. And so 17, pretty much 1,800 per credit hour. And then if you're full time, that's like 1,800. You know me, guys. Where my phone up? Pull it out. That's like 1,800 times 12. So that's how they got that number. You see that? Oh, can you see that? That's how they get that number. That's 2,600. But they probably did the max. They probably said, well, 18 credit hours if you do the max. 18 times 1,800. I got 32, but that makes a difference if I run. Let me see. 1,799 times 12. I still got that. Let me see. Maybe they did 15 times 1,799. I'm close. But they did, I got 26,985. So they probably did 16, 17, but it's close enough. But all you have to do is 15. You just take this number right here. You see the 12 to 18 credit hours, guys, and you multiply it from that 1,799. So if you're taking these credit hours, your credit hours are usually on your classes. As we keep growing, I will show you all how to break that down so you'll know how to build your schedule and have a successful semester so you're not stressed when you're taking your classes per semester, because you don't want to sound cool that, oh, I'm taking physics, anatomy, and all this at one time. You look crazy, actually. That's not cool. That's crazy. You want to have like 2 easy classes or simple classes with 2 hard classes usually to focus on. And so that's usually how I did the recipe. Or if I really want to chill, 1 hard class, 3 easy classes. So you can manage like saving easy classes. So when you graduate at the end, it's smooth. It's not really like intense. So getting back to that, guys, they're saying like, hey, look, 1,799. Wait, I just realized the per credit hour is $1,799 per credit. Oh my God. Lordy, I just realized that. Oh my goodness. My 2-year was $100 per credit hour. This is $1,000, almost $2,000 per credit hour. That's a lot. So 26,990. They multiply that times 2. That's how they got pretty much 54,000 rounded. And that's a lot of money. That's a big difference from here when they're saying like, look, you're only going to pay for the year 30,000. For the year, you're going to be paying 54,000. Now, keep in mind, St. John's University, I don't know how prestige they are. I don't. But for them to be charging these prices, they have to be pretty prestige. And it's just baffling me though, because their noble alumni are athletes. And then they got Mario, Matthew Cuomo, but you know, it's just interesting. I'm trying to figure it out. And so this does not include dorms and meal plans. Now, this is the type of school they should have some money in a pot. This is one of those type of schools, but right now, I don't know if they got all that money. I don't know if they're one of them ones that got a lot of money. And so the median earning, they saying that if you go to the school, you're going to be making, at the 10 years being removed, you should be at about 78,000 or more dollars. At the least being 10 years, a decade being removed, you should be on your way to six figures almost. And then we just talked about that. So that's the family income right there. That's determining like how much you'll pay, like from your family having $0 to 30,000 in income. Like this is how much your tuition should be for annual costs. You know, that's how much you should be looking at a year. $28,000 potentially at this school. And so that's that little breakdown. So then they got the graduation rate. We already said that. Students return 79% of the time. That's not as high as we would like it. Like we look at, if this school is charging prices like Harvard and stuff, they should be in the 90s a little bit. If we comparing it on that scale, you can't compare this school to like my university or Georgia State. And up north, they run a different curriculum. You go to school up north, better than the South. And so it's 79%. That's not that strong, but it's a C average. So C average on graduation rate, C average on, well, I guess a B if you round it, but C average, B average on students returning after their first semester. And then they got financial aid. So 43% of their students, almost 50% of their students. I ain't gonna lie, sit down with a financial aid person. Sam helps break down this a lot more. And so students receiving federal loans is almost 50%. So that means like after they get their financial aid, right? Depending on the type of student, hopefully you're not coming from out of state. You want to be in state. If you're in state, hopefully you're getting awarded some money, because you still have to pay that difference. You know, like prime example, if you are dependent, yeah, you just got to pay that difference. So whatever money you do get, like, remember we said on the lowest end, I'm gonna go back to it. It's on my mind. It's gonna drive me crazy. On the lowest end, potentially, according to this diagram, and it says right here, depending on federal, state, or institutional grant aid available, students in your income bracket may pay more or less than the overall average cost. And so, you know, if you do get Pell is $7,000 max, you know, pretty much like it's really 3,500 per semester estimate. And so that's only gonna knock off, you gotta divide this by 2. That 27,000 is you gotta divide that by 2. So I'm just gonna help you out. I'm gonna just do 28,000 divided by 2. That's 14,000 right there. So you get about 3,500 for Pell. That's discounted by like, I'm gonna just say 3,500 because you used all your Pell. If you're a Pell Grant student, if you even qualify for that. But if you're doing 0 to 30,000, you should qualify. But you get what I'm saying. And then you still owe like $10,500 technically at the school based on your income level. And so you still have to come up with $10,500. So hopefully the school gives you some institutional aid, I guess a scholarship, depending on what New York or Queens have. But this is what I'm saying, guys. You want to manage your money properly and see and understand this. You can't save money in college if you don't understand like the federal, the state, and the institutional grant and aid that you could get. This is why it's important to shop your way around. Because if you like me, I didn't have the highest GPA, so I don't think I would have got a good amount of institution aid from the school or all this state aid or something. I just got the Pell, and I got Pell and state aid when I was a student in Georgia. And so that helped me get about, I think I was getting about $5,000, $6,000 a semester depending. I had the running back by Sam. He'll know off the top of his head at that time. And so, because I had the Hope Scholarship, because my GPA was good in college. So, but you have to understand that you still can come out of pocket, because we haven't even included your meal plans in your dorms. So let's keep going. So yeah, I can see why they have they almost at 50% on students receiving federal loans. So that's why I always tell you guys, don't stay on campus, get a meal plan. Lord, don't get a meal plan, don't stay on campus. And if you're in Queens, New York, you're in the heart of a big city. So personally, based on my situation, even if I was coming from out of state, I really would have to know someone to stay off campus in New York or Queens, because that could be tough. That could be tough living off campus. It might be in your best interest to stay on campus. It depends on what the prices are looking like. That might lead you to going to another school. And we already looked at typical earnings, right? Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's more broken down now. This was not on here before. They're showing that, like, compared to high school graduates, like, hey, you're going to make more than a high school graduate in all states, and then all graduates in New York. That's a nice breakdown. They're saying still could be misleading, but that's pretty good. We ain't gonna go too much in detail because we already sat on a lot of stuff talking. So remember, guys, on campus diversity, remember our guy we just talked about earlier, DJ Lagway. Go see the campus for yourself. If you're in state, I want you to be in state. If you are considering to come from out of state, but the package seems like you're going to go there for free, it seems like it. Still visit the school. Still visit the school, because this data can say one thing, but when you get there, it's like really different. So experience the school, because you want to protect your mental, you want to protect your sanity, and you really want to go to a school that makes you feel included. So test scores, they have an 83 acceptance rate. I don't know if that's good, because they charging like $2,000 per credit hour. And if I go to Harvard or Columbia, they have a low acceptance rate, or like Caltech or something. They have an 83 acceptance rate. And once again, I don't know what St. John's is known for, because they are St. John's University is a private Catholic university in Queens, New York. They're not saying they're like a heavily researched institution. They have a high acceptance rate. They have high tuition. They haven't really had any nobly recent alumni really that's like major, I guess you would say. Seems like they're known for the sports, really. But I don't know, guys. I haven't really known St. John's to be very prestigious. I haven't heard anything in my graduate program about them being I haven't heard much about them in my graduate program either, if I'm using experience, about them being very like noble for research or anything. They have a law program. They got grad schools. I'm gonna give them St. John's gonna have to be a D for me, man. It's gonna have to be a D. For me, transferring there based on my situation, if I'm not getting the complete package, I wouldn't go here personally. If I'm going from a 2-year to a 4-year, I had to look at their articulation agreements on a deeper analysis. Like we just really have that much of a free time, once we keep working, and we just have time to research a school and record that, but we don't have that type of time, just to sit down and do that, especially when we're trying to invest on the side and cash flow while the business does not make much right now. So on this research, they're like a D. I wouldn't transfer there, but if I was in state at New York, I wouldn't be going here. But I would shop around, knowing the information I know now. I would shop around and see what I could be looking at, but it's very expensive. It's very expensive, guys. I'm still looking like with financial aid, I'm still looking at like $28,000 a year. And I don't really know, like, and then I can go to potentially Ivy, have a chance of getting into Ivy because Ivy's up north. And so like NYU, Harvard, Columbia. So it's hard to get me to go here to St. John's, when I can go to Ivy and pay about the same prices because they're charging like on their sticker price. It's like what we said, 53. So we're going to say 54,000. So, and that's not including dorms and housing. So 54,000 times 4, that's for 4 years. That's if I get out in 4 years, I'm looking at $216 total easily. That does not include dorms and housing. So yeah, I'm giving them a D because it could be more to them being prestigious and known for stuff. But they're going to get a D for me. And somebody could probably clear that up as it being a better institution. I feel like I could be off on this one, but I feel like I'm right on this a little bit. Y'all let me know in the comment section when I edit this. If you made it this far, you actually watched it. And let me know yourself if you go here. But if I haven't heard too many people saying they didn't pay any money at St. John's, that can change my perspective. But that 50% of their students pull out federal loans according to the College Scorecard. That's not my data. That's the Department of Education. So we all about you starting at a 2-year versus to a 4-year that can save you an abundance of money, and picking affordable 4 years that offer good money, or good prices. Like I like schools with good sticker prices personally. That's me. I'm doing well in life. Some of you all might understand like what G perspective of shopping around school to school and school paying you, but your GPA has to be a certain scale. You have to be one of them ones kind of. And so, or based on your situation. So yeah, I'm gonna rate them a D. And yeah, so that's all. Thank you for watching. We will be back on Tuesday. We had a consistent 3-day week and another consistent 3-day week coming up. And it's gonna be peace, love, chicken grease. And y'all have a safe weekend. Don't do nothing crazy. Think before you do. And we will see you all Tuesday with more topics. I think I'm still live. My bad, y'all. I didn't end the stream. I just left the studio. Peace, love, chicken grease now. I am hilarious. Hilarious.